Good morning. Welcome to today's presentation. This is Matt with CPA Academy, thanking you for joining us on this fine morning across the country, and specifically we'll be focusing on Austin today in today's presentation. Before we get going, let's make sure audio visual are working for all our attendees today. Should be able to see Jeff's screen with the blue border and the title of the presentation right there in the middle. Let's make sure audio is working. Jeff, how are you today?
Hey Matt, I'm doing good. Good morning. And can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. If we just have a few
Lovely.
people type into that question panel that you can hear both of us, that would just be fantastic. It will also let us know that the question panel is working. And obviously, if you have any questions or comments throughout the presentation, that is where you are going to put them. So I'm just going to do a quick administrative bit and then step out of the way and turn it over to Jeff, who's providing a lot of great content to us on CPA Academy in terms of not only helping people with their careers, but also how to with a few other webinars that he's offered with us, and we're certainly appreciative of that. But this course, it's a shorter course. It's not qualified for CPE credit. However, there's going to be some great information that Jeff is going to share. We made a copy of the slides available in your account on CPA Academy. So if you needed to grab a copy of those, you can certainly do so there. We'll also post a recording of today's session later today into our archive library. So if you missed anything, or if there's some details that they didn't get an opportunity to jot down, or perhaps there's a colleague or someone else you know who could benefit from this information, in lieu of reaching out to Jeff and finding out more, you can also access that recording and share it with others. So that being said, I'm going to step out of the way. Jeff, like I said, has been a real friend to us, providing a whole lot of great content, and really more importantly, a whole lot of opportunities for folks who are looking to maneuver within the accounting profession. So with that being said, Jeff, I'll turn it over to you. Thanks so much.
Hey Matt, good morning and thanks to everybody on the call. This is Jeff Phillips. So we're talking about Austin. I live in Pensacola, Florida, where actually for Florida fall is arriving, and it just puts everybody in a great mood. So hopefully you're having good weather wherever you're at. I actually used to live in Austin, so I imagine a lot of people on the call are actually living in Austin now. I lived at near the corner of Spicewood Springs Road and 360. So if you're familiar with the old Spicewood Springs Road, it's kind of there's a mountain bike park and just kind of a lot of like country out there, even though it's sort of near, it's in the city. I lived on a cattle ranch on that road, and it was only a 5-minute drive from the software company I worked at near the 360 bridge. So many fond memories of Austin. You guys are already using the question panel for questions. I'd like to know where people are calling in from today. Would you type in your question panel where you're currently located? Because a lot of times on these calls we'll have people who are relocating, like Austin, or maybe just thinking about it. So I'd love to know where you're calling in from. If it's 100% relocating folks, then I'll know how to address that differently than normal. So we've got folks clearly from Austin, but also Dallas and Chicago. Thank you. But a lot of concentrated in Texas, so that's great. Keep those coming in because I can look at those real time. Fantastic. So I haven't had the pleasure of meeting most of you. You probably found us and found this webinar through CPA Academy. So I want to explain sort of what this is. And before I do that, if you are a job seeker, just know that one of the things we will do for you at the end of this webinar is, if you meet the criteria that the firms here are looking for, send me your resume, and we will discreetly pass it along to the head of recruiting at these Austin-based firms for a confidential conversation. It's important to be discreet in a job search, but how would you ever know if something was a good fit, if better opportunities await, unless you just stick your neck out and have a conversation and learn about an employer? I've learned a lot about the two employers we're going to talk about today, and they're phenomenal. And it's why we're spending time trying to pull an audience together and tell you about it. Might be helpful I explain what Accountingfly is. We're still fairly new and still trying to get out into the market, but We've been called the career center to the accounting profession, and what that really is we operate on kind of two fronts here. First is we're a job board, kind of like the job boards you used to, like Monster.com and Indeed. Although I think we take it to a much deeper level. We only focus on accounting, and we work with a lot of firms and employers in public accounting. We do things like we have virtual career fairs, like National Meet the Firms Week is the largest career fair for accounting students. It's actually coming up next month. And in the summer, we do Advance, a virtual career fair for CPAs and accounting firms. Part of our mission is really educating accountants and CPAs about your career path. You can check out our blog. You can go to our website, our news site called Going Concern, which many of you might frequent. That is a part of our company. And then we do webinars constantly. So if you sign up with Accountingfly, you get invited to webinars like this. But a lot of them I get out of the way and bring in experts. We bring in experts to talk about career strategy, your career options, technology you need to know to have a great career. And our goal is that it's the best content you would find anywhere for your career. Like, to get out of the way, to stop the BS, and to be very direct and clear about where you should work and where you shouldn't, what you should be thinking about, what's important, what's not, and offer an opinion. And sort of not provide content like how to write a resume, but more like how can you be discreet and find a job in accounting without your manager finding out, if that's something that's important to you. I will take questions. And at the end of the webinar, I'll give you my email address so that you can send me your resume and offer to do a personal introduction, provided that the credentials are there. What else am I missing? So, I mean, I think employers use Accountingfly because we are strict just to the accounting profession, and you get to keep real-time data in front of your employers. You can have a public resume in our database if you would like, that employers can contact you, or you can have a resume on our system that is private, but you could just apply discreetly to any job that you want to. We welcome your feedback. We are a small team, a small business that's rapidly growing and committed to accounting, and there's real people here, so we welcome feedback. But that's enough about us. Let's talk about good places to work. We've worked with over 700 accounting firms and then hundreds more of accounting employers, like in private industry, government, regulatory type companies. And we have found that the public accounting industry is not, a lot of them are not keeping up with sort of the philosophies of great places to work. And we feel like we are nervous and scared for CPAs who are saying, you know what, accounting firms aren't holding the standard high, and I might as well just leave and go into private industry and take that small pay bump. And some people, that may be great. However, we have realized there are great firms in public accounting. There are really great firms in public accounting. And so I thought it would be helpful to tell you how we evaluate a firm and then show you two great examples just in Austin. But we want to see that clear commitment to clients, and I feel like most firms are committed to clients. They wouldn't be in professional services if they're not. But we also want to see that they are committed to their employees. Even small firms can sometimes treat accounting staff like a number, and that's not appropriate. And the firms that are progressive, the firms that are rapidly growing in their business and in their recruiting, they are developing people and they are training people. Even if at their risk, you may leave one day, but they still commit to training you, developing you, teaching you technology, and they're committed to their community. They ought to be leaders in their community, and we know that job seekers, especially younger CPAs, want employers that are really dialed into the community, that are a community leader. So we evaluate firms by their commitment to community and their commitment to employees and developing employees. We want you to want to work at firms that have dynamic cultures, that are growth oriented, where you could sit in an interview and ask a question, where do you see the two of us in 3 years from now, and actually get an answer you're happy with. We want the dynamic culture to be articulated. We want, if it is a button-down firm that is very conservative, we want you to know that. We want them to tell that story. But if they're casual, like the two firms that are a little more casual today in Austin, we want you to understand that. And it's important that they define that culture and really improve culture. Technology is critical. Like it or not, this is a technology profession. And you ought to want to work in accounting firms whose leadership gets technology. They are off the desktop and in the cloud. They're using modern hardware. They understand what Xero is. They understand the difference between QuickBooks Online and Xero. They understand how technology can actually allow an accountant to work more remote and less face time in the office. Being paperless at a minimum. And if they're not paperless, that they're years behind. We like firms, I think, including this technology, that are starting the conversation about getting away from billing by the hour and billing by value. Now, that's a hot topic, and I'm not saying that that's something that you would want, but I think you should be able to ask a firm what their opinion is on that in the interview. It's going to take a while for firms to move away from that, but it is out there, and it is kind of next generation. Lastly, we like to work with firms that are committed to looking for the very best people. And you know how we know if they are? We know they are looking for the best if they are always willing to talk and respond quickly to very good candidates, even during very busy times. And so you'll find some firms that have that philosophy, and that's a wonderful thing to have when you see a firm that embraces that. Talent is critical, and you may not know this right now, but for those of you who are 2 years out of school to 10 years out of school, you are in extremely high demand. And there is a little bit of a crisis in the accounting profession because they're not sure how they're going to hire people like you. So congratulations, right? That's a good place to be. And I think you get the opportunity here to choose where you're going to work. And I wouldn't have put these firms together, and really not me, our team wouldn't have put these firms out to you if we didn't think they exceeded every single one of these. So let me just talk about a couple of these two firms here. So first of all is Holtzman Partners. Now, some of you are in Austin, but some of you are not. Let me see here. Okay, so those of you who are in Austin, Holtzman Partners, they're on 6th Street. They're in the Clarksville neighborhood that is just west of downtown. It's east of Mopac, west of downtown. So this is a tech forward. I can tell they're technology forward just by looking at their website and the investment they made on having a world-class firm website. They're 11 years old. They started really to focus and offer and conduct audit and assist companies ranging from the pre-revenue startups to large public companies. And so if you're in Austin, you understand that startup scene is critical. I used to work in the middle of it. And so Holtzman works with really exciting top-tier clients. So that's a fascinating place to be in the middle of. I may, if Holtzman's on the call, I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, but I believe they have around 7 partners and around 18 staff, but they're growing. Holtzman is a member of PKF, and what I can tell you about that is some of these firms are members of larger alliances. And so if you have a book of business at a firm like Holtzman and you have a client that needs to do work in another state or another country, Holtzman has access through this association called PKF to accountants and experts across every industry and across the globe at your fingertips. It makes you a much more powerful service provider when you have that. So I love the fact that they are developing people because every team member has a coach and a mentor, obviously, throughout their career. I'm saying obviously because you can read this. I don't want to have to read everything for you. You've probably already read that. But there's a feedback loop that helps accelerate your growth. And I think they're upfront with what your promotion potential is because all of these things kind of bake into speeding up that promotion for you, which is really exciting. And frankly, we don't see this a lot, that kind of commitment to developing people. And so it goes back to they're way over the bar. And they're committed to a healthy work-life balance. They offer wellness programs, a women's initiative, volunteer program, a real community volunteer program, and a strong benefits package. What are they hiring for? So just since most job descriptions are fairly similar in public accounting, I wanted to make sure if you fit an audit senior within 2 to 5 years or a tax with 2 to 5 years of experience, please consider these guys. If nothing else, send me their resume at the end of the call, and we'll introduce you to them so that you can start a conversation. No one is expecting you, if you're in Dallas, for example, or Chicago, to have an interview and move to them. Start the conversation and learn and investigate, especially if you fit if these two criteria. If you are a CPA and you're outside of one of these skill sets or experiences, they'll still like to talk to you. They always want to talk to good people and good talent. Next up is Ashley and Associates, a firm that we've been working with in our own company for quite a while, and they are an outstanding firm. And what can I tell you about Ashley and Associates? So a little bit bigger than Holtzman, but about 50 employees. They've been in business 18 years. They're growing, and they're looking to hire. And this is a progressive, exciting accounting firm that exceeds all of our expectations. You can look them up on Glassdoor, which is a site that Accountingfly uses quite a bit. I think they've had 5 or 6 reviews, and 100% would recommend the firm, 100% would recommend the CEO, and I think that's something like 4.2 out of 5, just overall ranking as a place to work. A couple of quotes I thought was really cool. One reviewer called it the better side of public accounting. And I read that and thought that is Accountingfly's mission right there, is to pick out opportunities that you guys would call the better side of public and really get excited about that. There's another quote, there's plenty of opportunity to learn and advance here. It's got a looser atmosphere and it's easy to work in and be comfortable in. So clearly it's kind of a laid-back culture, and they've got a 43-hour average work week for the year and up to 50 during busy season. Both of those are off the charts, I think, compared to a lot of firms. Strong development of people, strong opportunities for growth and challenge and rewards, lots of learning opportunities and technology opportunities, diversity-driven, diversity-committed. You read their website and they're looking for diversity of opinion and diversity in the general sense as well. We love Ashley and Associates. You know what? I usually give the location and I forgot to look it up. So you'll have to look it up yourself when you check out their profile on Accountingfly. They're looking for tax seniors, audit seniors, 2 to 5 years with the CPAs, and a tax supervisor. If any of you fit that, have a conversation with Karen or the team from Ashley, and begin a conversation with firms that I think could be career-changing for you. So let's wrap this up, because that's it. And I'd love to take questions and stay around on the call for a few minutes if you want to chat. The questions that I have, I'll open them up. I'm going to do a couple of things here. I would like for you to check out the pages here, and I'm not going to click on them, but I will. Oops, I apologize. We just went off the rails here. Cool. So a few follow-up items. One, you can go to Accountingfly and search Austin, and you'll find Holtzman and you'll find Ashley. You can check out their profile. You'll see pictures of their offices and the opportunities that are here. Okay. Next up is these are our clients, and while the way they use Accountingfly is they post jobs, they pay us to post jobs on our site. They're not the only firms that pay us to post jobs on our site in Austin that we've included here. So just to be upfront, these are firms that we wanted to be particular in how we promoted because of certain criteria they met. They aren't paying us for me to introduce you to them, and neither are you. This is a service that we provide CPAs who attend this webinar. And if you would like to send me your resume, I'll give you my email address right here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to just send it out through the chat. So my email address is jeff@accountingfly.com. If you want to send me a resume, if you have a question, feel free. But I'll send you your resume to the team at Holtzman and the team at Ashley and leave it up to you to coordinate a conversation. But I think it would be worth your time to discreetly talk to these firms and learn for yourself if they're a great place to work. I promise you, you will be thrilled with your conversation. So those are the Accountingfly profiles, and that is everything we've got. And typically we try to do this in 10 minutes or so. What questions do you have? We'll stay on for the opportunities, stay on for any questions. So first question, are there any part-time jobs listed on your website? There are, yeah. There's not as many as I'd like, but we do have them, and a lot of these firms actually that you can just use Accountingfly to be introduced to an accounting firm. Drop your resume with them. Believe me, they'll be interested in talking to you if you have a CPA, and you could ask them yourself if they're interested in part-time or remote opportunities. A lot of firms are, and that's growing. And I'm curious, for the person that asked me that, if you'll tell me where you're located. I think maybe you already did, but we could probably connect. Yeah, you're in Katy, so might be able to have some firms in your area that they may be interested in part-time. Okay. So where do you send my resume? That was a question. All right, you can send it to jeff@accountingfly.com. I got a longer question from Michael, and Michael, if you'll send me your email address, I can respond to you a little bit more in a little more detail there. Hopefully you heard that. Any other questions? We have a couple minutes to kill here. If you have any questions that might be interesting about your career, I'm on the call and be happy to see if you can stump me, which you probably could fairly easily. I'll give it 5 seconds or so and see if anybody has any last-minute questions. All right, here we go. Great. Yep. Interesting. So, Patricia, I appreciate your question. Might be worth a follow-up after the call, but I'd like to see your resume first, and then I'm just going to give you some tips on how to get more follow-up calls. The last thing I'll say is, use job boards like ours as sources of information, but don't necessarily wait on the firms to email you back. If it looks like a good fit, and it really is a good fit, initiate a conversation. Show that you're strong in the sort of business development arena. Don't come off too strong. If they're not interested, they're not interested. But if by requesting an interview, you'll increase your chances of getting something happening, even though you applied over a website. So use the websites like ours as sources of information, but also be confident in the follow-up too. All right. Well, that's it. Listen, I'd ask one last thing. If you would be so kind as to give us feedback either through the question panel or through an email, what else would you like to learn in this? What could we do next time around? Because our intention is to continue doing these constantly. We do them in most major markets, and we'll do it again in Austin. Would you like to see more firms, non-firms? Was I a lousy presenter? Whatever you want. I'd appreciate the feedback because we want to just improve and improve. And I hope that's true for all of us. Thank you so much for giving me 25 minutes of your time. Thanks for attending. I hope you'll use Accountingfly in your job search, and I really hope you'll consider these 2 awesome firms in Austin. So best of luck to you in your job search. Thanks for being here, and bye for now.
Jeff, thank you so much. Really do appreciate your time and certainly sharing these opportunities. Like I said at the beginning, we'll post the recording here to CPA Academy in our archive library later in the day today. So if you missed anything, you can certainly go back to it. And thank you everyone for joining us. And Jeff, again, thank you so much for sharing.